is Papa Shango. And you are listening to Icopod. Beware of Papa Shango. Beware of voodoo. And definitely beware of Icopod.
And we're back with episode 72 of Icopod. I'm Bob Collins Jr. And with me, as always, is Austin Skinner. Austin, last week's episode was pretty much a major downer. How are you feeling this week?
Well, I'm feeling optimistic because with every bad week comes a good week. And I'm hoping, Bob, I'm really hoping that you just lay it all on the line this week and you really take it home for the team and you score a touchdown for us so we can really just put last week in the rearview mirror and say, King of the Ring, here we come.
I will try, and I'm going to make this episode far more entertaining compared to the bummer of a week that we had last week. And I'm going to do that by doing a Vince Russo update.
Yes.
Now, you will remember that a few weeks ago, I showed you a picture of Vince Russo's painting, if you want to call it that, where he had an all elite wrestling and WWE thing together, and he was like conspiracy, blah, blah, blah.
Bro, it's the same company, bro. How many times I got to tell you this, bro?
So his bidding for that painting has concluded.
Okay.
It ended actually yesterday, June 5th.
So it did sell.
Correct. Do you want to take a guess as to how much money someone paid for his AEW painting? Mind you, it looks like a 6-year-old did it.
It's not very good. Oh shit. If it's anything over 300, dude, that's absolutely ridiculous.
It is not over $300.
Okay. All right. Because it was at what, 170 last time we knew?
Yeah, it was around 170 or something.
Okay. So I'm gonna guess it sold for 220.
It sold for $265.
Oh God, even that is ridiculous.
Right. And it looks like he's charging $13 for shipping.
Okay.
So it's really going to be about $278.
What do you think it costed him to paint that?
Well, the canvas is probably
20, 30 bucks.
20, 30 bucks, yeah. And then I don't know what he's using for paint, but probably less than, I'd say, $75.
So we're saying right now he just made comfortably $165
roughly, yeah,
off of some fan of his who's must be a diehard fan.
He has a surprisingly loyal amount of people that follow him blindly,
which we talked about, which is fine. That's okay, fine. But come on, dude. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
What? Okay, here's the difference. Like, if Vince Russo was selling a booking sheet from 98 that's handwritten, or like ideas he had in his notebook or something, that'd be one thing. A fucking bullshit. Oh, is this the link that you're sending me?
I'm sending you a link to a second painting.
Oh, God.
And this painting, ladies and gentlemen, is, I want to say it's inspired by Planet of the Apes. And it says, "Apes together strong." I just sent it to
pull this
Austin
up here.
Well, I want to see his reaction. So if it's quiet here for a minute. And then
what the fuck is that? That looks like, I guess it looks like a capuchin monkey.
Yeah.
With a case of Down syndrome. I don't think that's what he was going for.
Probably not.
He has it listed starting the current bid is $150.
Right. And I want to point out that the starting point for the bidding was at 100.
Okay.
So you can look back here and see the bidding history.
Right.
So it was at 100. And that was on June 5th, 2019 at 9:52 a.m. That's when he posted it. The first bid was on June 6th, 2019 at 5:18 a.m. to $149.
That painting is awful.
Yeah.
Like, is somebody really buying that and hanging it up?
That's, I guess, the idea. He's been very happy about people buying his art and hanging it up in their houses. So
I would have bought the other one over this one. That's how bad this one is.
yeah, I'm not a fan of
this one.
Fan of either one, really. But
yeah, this one looks like your fifth grader brought it home, and like you kind of don't want to hang it on the fridge, but you'd feel like a dick if you didn't. Right. So you hang it up for like a couple. It doesn't get a full week. You hang it up for a couple days, and you put it in the drawer, and you're just done with it. But No, this is not good. And like he like ran out of room writing the shit in the corner here, so it's like all jumbled together right up in the corner. And it's definitely like a Planet of the Apes thing because it's like a monkey with a gun strapped on its back.
Yeah.
And there's like snow on him, it looks like.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got from it.
Yeah, it's fucking horrible. He's got like, it looks like the lower half is like an Abe Lincoln beard.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even look like fur. It's just very bizarre and unsettling.
Well, and another thing that Vince McMahon is, or not Vince McMahon, what Vince Russo is doing is that he is leading a conspiracy movement of sorts, saying that AEW and WWE are in fact one of the same. I feel like there's many flaws behind that. Number one, WWE is a publicly traded company. So if they were to be like, oh, hey, we're with AEW, that would have to be disclosed to your shareholders who are investing into your company.
Yeah.
So that's a major flaw. Also, Tony Khan is the owner of AEW. So again, doesn't make a lot of sense. But he recently made a Twitter dedicated to this conspiracy movement.
Oh, God.
Where all the late breaking news.
It's like a separate Twitter?
Yes.
Oh.
And it's called AEW WEWORK. So what I think happened, I think he meant to do like AEW WWE work, but he didn't really put the extra W. So it's just like AEW we work. But I think it's supposed to be AEW WWE work. But he didn't put in the third W really to separate the words. So
I just, dude.
You want to take a guess on how many followers that this Twitter page has?
127.
No. It has 1,781.
I'm pretty surprised by that, honestly.
I don't know how many of those are following it for comedy.
I'm about to.
I will not. Under no circumstance will I follow that.
Please read some tweets from that.
Okay, let's see here. Oh, that's from his cable bill, so I don't really care about that. All right, so 2 hours ago, he wrote, interesting. I thought WWE owned the name Cody Rhodes. Thought Cody was going to go by just Cody. Look at his boots on the latest AEW wrestling merchandise. Interesting. And if you click on the picture, his boots have CR.
Yeah, but does it blatantly say Rhodes?
Oh, it does not. But he's insinuating that he's going by Cody Rhodes now. Is a name that is owned by WWE.
Yeah, if that's not a reach, I don't know what is.
On June, that is a reach. On June 5th, he posted in relation to the AEW painting that he had, less than 1 hour left to buy a piece of wrestling history. An original piece of art from Vince Russo. When this thing is revealed, you'll have a gold mine on your hands.
Oh.
Want to take a guess on how many people retweeted and liked that picture?
500.
2 people retweeted it and 1 person liked it. So, mind you, I mean, my Twitter page, nobody likes or retweets anything I put on, but I'm also not trying to shill paintings.
Come on.
All the time, so.
What a fucking joke. It's like an attention thing at this point. I kind of feel bad for Vince Russo that he feels like he needs to do this in order to like stay around.
He's trying to just remain.
He can't be serious, dude. Come on.
This is the last one I'll read. It's from June 1st. He goes, makes absolutely zero difference to me if you believe the conspiracy or not. I'm just stating the facts that it looks like some can't handle. And to be clear, I don't care about wrestling, but I do love a good conspiracy. Remember, when you chant AEW, you're really chanting WWE. So he just said, to be clear, I don't care about professional wrestling, but he has made a separate Twitter account dedicated to a pro wrestling situation. All of his podcasts are about professional wrestling. His entire career is based around professional wrestling.
Vince Russo, I think, gets a kick of gets a kick out of like making people look like idiots because he himself, I think, is deep down probably an idiot.
Yeah. I don't think there's any debate on that.
So I honestly think he's probably doing this not because he buys into it, because he's trying to swerve the fans and like get a laugh at their expense. That's what it feels like to me. That's the only logical thing I can come up with, because if he honestly believes that this is a 100% conspiracy and then both companies are working together, or the same company for that matter, I don't even know what to do with that. I don't even know how to handle that. That's hilarious. I love that he's made a separate Twitter page for it.
I think you're giving him too much credit. I think he's an absolute moron that probably does legitimately think this is real.
Gosh, I hope not, man.
He doesn't understand business or anything.
So funny. So good. Thank you, Vinny Roo. What would we do without Vinny Roo, man? And put that on a shirt.
Well, I have another embarrassing little bit of news here.
Okay.
I'm going to read this on air, which is a substantial post here, so please bear with me here.
Have I heard this?
No.
Okay.
So Marty Jannetty has not been on IcoPod in recent weeks. In fact, I think since February, because he got fired again.
Yeah, and he also blew us off for an opening.
Yeah, so we're not going to talk about that. Anyway, he is pretty regularly posting on Facebook, I would say. I'm not friends with him, but sometimes my friends will retweet some of his nonsense.
I do follow him on Facebook.
Okay, I don't even do that. Needless to say, throughout the years, Marty's had some really weird moments in life. For instance, potentially sleeping with his daughter that he didn't know was his daughter, but then it was like, she's smoking hot, so whatever. But here's one that was just published yesterday at 4:19 p.m.
Oh boy.
And I figured, you know what, maybe this would be a little fun, like, hey, what's Marty Jannetty up to type of thing. So a cry for help, sorta. So please bear with me on all of this. I'm going to read it exactly as he has typed it. So if it doesn't make sense, it's because that's what was written.
Oh no.
All right, here we go. Y'all, I know I play on here a lot, but about to be real right now. I've been partying way too much lately, possibly every day since WrestleMania, however long ago that was, 30, 40 days. I don't even know, but I need to stop. But it's just hard. My personality doesn't allow me to be bored. And for me, going from 350 days a year on the road, over 100 beautiful ladies per year for many, many years, to living in the backwoods of Alabama right now, doing shows on weekends. What the hell else am I going to do during the week? Drink, smoke a little plant, and possibly throw a little powder up. Then have sex with all the neighbor girls. But it's got to stop. I'm not working out right, not tanning right, not studying film. Hell, I ain't doing shit but drinking, fucking, sorry about the language, and waiting for the weekends. And now I got 3 events this weekend. I'm embarrassed at my own damn self to do these things in front of my people, looking like a pale, white, fat pig. And I think I have a seminar to do. Nothing means more to me these days than teaching my kids. But I've partied so much lately that if I stop for a full day, I go into some weird withdrawal shit. My hands shake so bad, I can't even sign autographs right. And therefore, just like what? All I'm doing this weekend, starting tomorrow, a baseball game, and a girls' wrestling event, a seminar, a meet and greet for my great friend, I'm going to have to drink my way through all of that so I don't go through withdrawals in front of my people. I don't want to live like that anymore, and I don't suggest rehab. I agree with my super cool and pretty friend Amy Winehouse, RIP, love you, sweetie, when she's saying they told me to go to rehab, but I say no, no, no. And here's what you all need to know about that bullshit. When I lived in New Orleans, I went to 2 rehabs, one for sex addiction, one for drugs and alcohol. The drug an alcohol one, I ended up roughing up one of my counselors for being a dick to a sweet young 19-year-old boy who was trying hard. I even told the counselor to knock it off. Then he smarted off to me for taking up for the kid. You already know what happened next. He didn't smart off anymore. Then the sex addiction clinic. The idiots assigned me to a counselor who was a beautiful blonde with big tits. We ended up dating for a few minutes, fucking. I'll put a pic up here so you all know how stupid it was to assign her to me. And Austin, after I finish, I'll show you the picture here. So I said all that. Fuck rehabs. I can do this on my own. But my question to y'all is, what am I going to do with the boredom? P.S. My heart is talking to me. Hasn't been beating right for 2 days now. Not to scare anyone, especially my family, but just further proof I've got to stop. Just told my heart I will stop. Just let me wean down so it's not dangerous. Now, Austin, that is the alleged counselor that he had sex with.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
It's Marty Jannetty, man.
I love that he emphasizes the fact that all he does is drinking and fucking.
Yeah.
The neighborhood girls in the backwoods of Alabama. Talk about a fall from grace. I don't know. I don't know where you go from that. Like what? And then like the rehab thing. Let me quote Amy Winehouse. Like, okay, she's dead.
Right. He even says, R.I.P. You're trusting what she said, which ended up being not smart. She probably should have gone to rehab.
I feel like the 100 beautiful women years after years is a little bit of a stretch. Because really, like, how many hot years did Marty have?
Well, yeah, I think probably most of the 80s as the Rockers with Sean. He probably got like second piece from Sean. Sean probably got grade A, and he would probably get second level.
And then he goes on to say, I'm a like a, what did you say? White fat pig.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's if that ain't a cry for help, I don't know what is. Like DDP needs to go get Marty Jannetty tonight.
Right. He should already be there.
That's not good. That's not good.
Yeah, hopefully Marty gets some help.
Yeah, and honestly, dude, and I hate to say this because it's fucked up, but I'm surprised if that's, really how he's living, how he's not dead yet.
I know.
Like he's living, he literally said, I'm waiting for the weekends for my little weekend shows. And mind you, nobody that we know is booking Marty Jannetty. So I can only imagine these, shows with 230 people in some gym somewhere in the backwoods of Alabama that's heavily featured Marty Jannetty for who knows how long. And like that's what he's living off of, is like that fame. Like that's that's really sad. That's like the movie The Wrestler, but in real life.
That might be a really great, that might be a really great comparison. It could very well be.
Where he's like sniffing coke off the bathroom sink and like fucking some ring rat girl.
Yeah.
Like that's
cutting his hand on the deli slicer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that was entertaining, but also was also depressing. So maybe I did not.
It's pretty funny though, because like the post,
Kind of.
I guarantee you, if you look at the post before, it's like, oh, just banged out fucking this girl. She was crazy. She let my cat pee on her. Like that's the shit he posts.
Well, now I'm intrigued to see exactly what maybe he would have posted.
And I'm sorry, but I do not believe that he banged the girl in that picture.
I don't believe that at all.
Yeah, I don't buy that.
All right, so this is Marty Jannetty right here. He has like 700 Facebook pages apparently. Okay, so there's that one. Yeah, I don't know. He just has a bunch of like random ass posts.
That's all he does, dude. That's why I follow him, because it's just so he's just so outlandish.
Well, here's one from Tuesday at 4:40 a.m. My phone, though, I lost it again. Hard to have phone sex without a phone.
Yeah. Like, what, Marty? What the fuck are you talking about? Imagine having phone sex with Marty Jannetty.
Yeah, I don't know.
I bet you he's sending like fucking videos of himself nude doing like the super kick. Like, check this shit out, baby. This is from back my glory days. And like the cat's in the background looking at him like, you fat white old man who's not tanned, who looks like a disgusting pig.
I feel bad for this guy.
I do too. It is sad, but you know what? At least he's got a sense of humor about it.
I guess it's a dark sense of humor, though. Okay, well let's just get on to what we're really here for. I only have one piece of observer notes. Apparently,
Marty Jannetty
he's on his way back now. Raw last week on April 18th got an incredible 3.7 rating.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Did they think it was like a hit TV show that they accidentally tuned into?
Don't know, but
that's like
that was
the
a
highest
boring
rated.
It is. That's the highest rated one.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
There's no way that they'll get 3.7 moving forward, because the same people who accidentally tuned in were probably like, this is fucking boring.
If this week right here, if we come on next week and Bob doesn't say, well, last week got a 2.6, I'll be fucking shocked.
Yeah.
What made people tune in?
Quang.
Brett?
Probably Quang.
Yeah, I think so too. Because, remember, that's the sound Yokozuna's skull makes when it cracks off the ring post.
That's right. Quang.
So.
Absolutely. Let's go to the house show notes. There's actually two of them for the WWF. They both took place on April 24th. The first one taking place in Cincinnati, Ohio at the Riverfront Coliseum. The card featured Bam Bam Bigelow taking on Sparky Plug, WWF Women's Champion Alundra Blaze defending against Leilani Kai, Lex Luger squaring off against Crush, Razor Ramon taking on Diesel, Quang squaring off against 1-2-3 Kid. In a grudge match, IRS taking on Tatanka, WWF Tag Team Champions the Quebecers defending against the Bushwhackers, and WWF World Champion Bret Hart defending against Owen Hart.
I'm definitely going to that show, like 100%. But you really killed me with Quebecers Bushwhackers, man.
Yeah.
Shit. Everything else, though, and you know what? I really like the idea of 1-2-3 Kid Quang.
They could probably have good matches.
Yeah. Like, I'm into that. Everything else is like a top tier match.
That's a pretty strong card aside from
pretty strong card.
from Quebecers and Bushwhackers.
Yeah.
So I would say I'm going to Cincinnati.
Okay.
Now let's go to Flint, Michigan at the IMA Sports Arena. This card drew 1,000 fans. And it featured Mount and Mission taking on the Heavenly Bodies, Adam Bomb in singles action against Virgil, Duke Drozy squaring off against Bastion Booger, Jeff Jarrett taking on Doink the Clown, Yokozuna in a singles match against Mabel, and in the main event, the Smoking Guns battling the Head Shrinkers. How does this syndication?
That's fucking offensive.
Yeah.
That card is an abomination.
And even what about Adam Bomb and Virgil?
Fucking no, because that's just going to be 80-20 Virgil.
Right. Well, what about Yokozuna and Mabel?
No.
Guns and Head Shrinkers would be good.
Yeah, but like you got to sit through hellfire and brimstone to get to that. And is it really worth it? Absolutely not.
Probably not.
That is really bad. That's one of the, that's a bad one.
So I guess we're just going to Cincinnati then.
Yeah. And you know what? Think about it. Last week, ECW drew what? 1,300?
No, they drew, I think, 1,050, 890 paid.
Okay. Well, they're doing Eastern Championship Wrestling numbers in Flint, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes. That is just, that's like when you get on an elevator and it's got fucking 7 people on it and you know somebody shit their pants. You can just smell it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to ignore that.
It's like you turn your nose up and you're just offended. Like, really? In this small space, this is what you did? How dare you?
You really thought no one would smell it?
I can taste it. Thank you for that.
That's gross.
Yeah, that's what this is.
Yeah.
That's tasting a fart on an elevator with 7 other people.
I mean, some people might like that.
Yeah, well, I ain't fucking one of them.
All right.
On to some syndication news.
On the April 23rd edition of Superstars, WWF Intercontinental Champion Razor Ramon took on Adam Bomb in a non-title match.
I was ready.
All right, well, let's get into it. Bomb attacks Ramon before the bell and hammers away on the champ in the corner. Bomb drives Ramon down to the canvas with a scoop slam, but misses an elbow drop. Ramon sends Bomb over the top of the floor with a clothesline. They're on the floor where Bomb drops Ramon with a short arm clothesline. Back in the ring, Bomb gets a 2 count following a slingshot clothesline from the apron. Bomb is nearly rolled up by Ramon, but regains control quickly. Ramon with a knee lift, and he goes for the Razor's Edge, which he actually hits. Ramon goes for the cover, and he wins the match. Pretty quick match, I would say. They didn't get a whole bunch of time, but Ramon actually getting Adam Bomb up for the Razor's Edge, hitting it, and winning the match is without question impressive. But for me, how much value does it have considering what Adam Bomb has been going through the last several weeks? If you do this match 4 weeks ago, I'm sure it's a much bigger deal, but considering Adam Bomb can't beat Earthquake and really anybody, how much true value does this win have for Razor Ramon? Probably not a whole lot.
Well, and that's exactly it here. So when Razor's coming out, he's getting a huge pop, right? Bomb at this point literally feels like an enhancement guy. Like that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. He's sluggish. He looks like he's ballooned up a little bit as far as like weight. He's definitely not as like cut and big as he was. You can tell like his upper body. He may be letting it go a little bit. Vince here even makes mention of how Bomb would be better off with Harvey Whippleman, like better off without him, which I thought was interesting because Bob and I absolutely agree with that. And it just seemed out of nowhere, the finish, as if like Razor was queued up. Hey, like wrap it up. It's like, okay, Razor's Edge pin. Bomb did get a lot of offense in, which I thought was good, but really at this point it's futile. You know what I mean? Like you're wasting your time. Like just like you said, really the win, what does it do for Razor if anything? You know. I don't know. It's a bummer. It's a bummer because I really like Razor. but like I really liked Adam Bomb. And now it's very apparent that there are no plans for Adam Bomb in the future as far as upward momentum. He's sinking further and further. He's got an ankle fucking weight at this point, an anchor on his ankle, weighing him down to the bottom of the ocean, and we'll probably never see him again.
Yeah, he is certainly peaked, I think, in the WWF.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, after the match, Jerry Lawler walks out and suggests that Ramon's luck has gone bad since he walked under the ladder at WrestleMania 10. Ramon shows off the belt and he gets in Lawler's face. Lawler thinks Ramon is afraid of Shawn Michaels and Diesel. Ramon likes nothing better than a good fight and says that he accepts any challenge at any time. Lawler suggests Ramon defend the title against Diesel next week on Superstars. Ramon accepts the match. So next week on Superstars, it's going to be Diesel versus Ramon for the WWF Intercontinental Championship.
I mean, the title's not going to change hands. I don't know. Okay. Cool.
Great syndication.
I'm still on the Razor Ramon train though, and I do think that there is chemistry between him and Diesel, which is good. So I'm glad that they're kind of giving Shawn a break, because I think because it's inevitable, right? Once Shawn's inserted back into this Razor Ramon deal as the main protagonist or antagonist, I should say, we're going to appreciate it even more. So I think they're still on the right track. Although, like we talked about last week, I really wish they were giving Diesel more of the shine right now, because he needs it more right now.
Right.
So that's that's where I'm at with it. Like, I'm interested to see a singles match finally between the two, but we'll see where it goes.
On the same episode of Superstars, Mr. Perfect was the guest on the Heartbreak Hotel. Perfect considers himself to be the perfect referee, and he did his job at WrestleMania 10. He dismisses the idea that he holds a grudge and said that if he did hold grudges, he wouldn't be talking to Shawn Michaels right now.
That's fair.
They think that Luger is the guy that holds a grudge. And Perfect says that nobody puts their hands on him and gets away with it. I thought it was a really good point when he was like, if I were to hold grudges, I wouldn't be talking to you, Shawn. Kind of a good continuation based off of their feud back in the spring and summer of 93. So.
Right. And I think that's good. I think that's a cool little nod. And like you said, continuation for me is always like, it hits a chord with me. Like, yes. You know what I mean? So that's cool. I'm cool with that. I don't know, man. Hopefully Perfect is motivated, although it doesn't feel like he really is, but like maybe he is. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm intrigued by it. I doubt, I don't know. Perfect just doesn't do much for me. Still.
As we've noted.
Just, it wasn't a bad promo for what I saw, but I don't know. Let's get into the show here. The April 25th, 1994 edition of Raw from Utica, New York.
All right, really quick.
Yeah.
Have we not been in Utica for like fucking 4 weeks?
We have been. And like I've said before, like this is the era now where they tape 3 to 4 shows in one location.
Like, holy shit, man.
Yeah, they've been in Utica for several weeks now.
It's ridiculous. Like, give me a break.
Before the Raw opening video, there was like a little clip, right? Before going into that, or no?
Yeah, they show Nikolai Volkoff. He's shown at ringside and being hyped.
Oh, that's right.
And it's like, oh, tonight, don't forget, this is Jerry Lawler's guest on the King's Court.
Yeah.
So
okay. I remember rolling my eyes at that. That's probably why I didn't write it down.
Yeah.
We got our Raw opening video, and then we go to the arena where Vince McMahon and Randy Savage welcome everyone to the show. And they go over what will be on this week's episode. McMahon mentions that Razor Ramon will be defending the WWF Intercontinental Championship against Diesel this coming weekend on Superstars. We go right into our first match where WWF Intercontinental Champion Razor Ramon squares up against Jeff Jarrett in a non-title match. Jarrett takes Ramon down and taunts him for being able to do so. He continues to control Ramon with an arm drag and drops a few knees to the elbow of Ramon. Ramon catches Jarrett coming off the ropes and takes Jarrett down with a fallaway slam. Jarrett rakes Ramon to the floor and rams Ramon headfirst into the apron before sending Ramon back into the ring. Jarrett brings Ramon to the floor and rams Ramon headfirst into the ring steps and clotheslines Ramon down to the floor again. Jarrett with a fist drop off the middle rope for a 2 count. Jarrett with a face jam before a commercial break. Ramon with a sunset flip cover. But Jarrett kicks out and clotheslines Ramon to keep control of the match. Jarrett locks in a sleeper hold in the middle of the ring. Ramon drops down to a knee and eventually sits down as he is fading. Razor is able to keep his arm from falling 3 times, and Jarrett doesn't like to see that at all. Ramon fights out of the hold with a back suplex and gets a 2 count. Ramon with several right hands, but is once again sent to the floor by Jarrett. At this point, Shawn Michaels makes his way down to ringside, taunting the fallen Ramon on the floor. Ramon nails Michaels with a right hand, and he nails Jarrett with a right hand as he comes off the apron. And he sends Jarrett face first into the ring steps. Ramon with an atomic drop and clotheslines Jarrett to the floor. Ramon flips Michaels into the ring and begins to hammer away on Shawn Michaels in the corner. Ramon goes for the Razor's Edge, but Diesel enters the ring, and he hits Ramon with a big boot that causes the disqualification. After the match, Michaels and Diesel work on Ramon. Diesel lays Ramon out with a jackknife powerbomb twice. Michaels hands Diesel the Intercontinental Championship, allowing Diesel to taunt Ramon, and they stand over the fallen Ramon. So what did you think of the match and the aftermath with Diesel laying out the champ?
I thought, surprisingly, the match was decent.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't expecting Jeff to get in as much offense as he did. But again, when he's laying in strikes on Razor Ramon, I'm watching this guy and I'm saying, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. And it was so hard for me to like put that thought out of my mind and just judge this as a match. And like not worry about Jeff's booking leading up to this or like preconceived notions. Like that's what my goal was for this. Let me just watch this as a match, right? In that sense, I enjoyed it. Jeff got a lot of offense in. I tried blocking out the thought of how ridiculous it is that he's, beating up Razor Ramon. I liked it, and I also didn't mind that it got cut short by the interference, to be honest. I'm at a point where I can't believe I'm going to say this, too. I like Diesel more than Shawn Michaels. I'm more interested in Diesel than Shawn Michaels right now. There's something about Diesel's offense. And it's not like this forever. So I'm going to like enjoy it while I can. Where it looks clumsy, but at the same time, it looks believable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like when he hits shit, it looks like he nails him with the shit. He gets a big boot. It's clumsy, but it looks like he fucking just kicked the guy right in the face.
Well, I mean, that's how a fight would be anyway.
Right. Like it's not going to be.
If you were to do a big boot in a fight.
Well, it just exactly in general, fights are never pretty. It's never, right. You know what I mean? A real fight is never pretty. So I don't know. And just between like his size and like, I mean, he does have a little cheese to him, of course, because Shawn has a little cheese to him. But at the same time, it's like, I like this fucking guy. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's something about Diesel that I'm really into. And it's kind of been that way since he popped up. I've been into it. I don't like when he tries on the different accents and like tries to be, I don't know, like a bouncer or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like that. But when he's able to shine, just like right here where he's dropping Ramon with 2 jackknives, Were they pretty? No, but it looks like he plants them. You know, where he's putting the cheesiness aside. That's what I'm into. So the match leading up was good. I thought the interference was well played. It does get me more excited to see a Ramon Diesel face off. Excuse me, face off. Michaels plays like he's playing his role really well. Like the little snot nose, like hiding behind the big guy, like, haha, we got one over you. Let's high five.
Yeah.
He's playing that well. But at the same time, like we talked about last week, I just wish they would just shove Shawn further over to the side. Let Diesel shine as a monster, because we're in need again of a monster. And Diesel can be that. So I'm into it. I'm 100% buying into it. It's pretty much like the opposite of Jeff Jarrett. Like, again, the match was solid. I don't buy into Jeff Jarrett as a legitimate threat. Diesel, I buy into as a legitimate threat. So, yeah, like I'm cool with it. Cool with the interference. I don't think it took away from the match. Jarrett kind of just disappears, which I thought is like, oh, well, you could have done something. Like I thought it would have been cool if like Jeff got in the ring and was like, what the fuck? You just cost me the match. Maybe he pushes Diesel and Diesel drops him with a jackknife.
Sure.
Like, you're done. Goodbye. You're nothing. It's just something like to give Jeff, at least he's standing up for himself, but give Diesel like another exclamation point on top of that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That was, if I only have one little gripe, that would be it. But I'm super interested in this angle, in this feud. Super interested.
I thought it was a decent match with Jarrett, Ramon, but the aftermath, I found myself being like, wow, you know what? I think Diesel could be a bigger deal.
Dude, yeah.
And this apparent feud with Ramon, that could catapult him pretty quick to be just being involved with him in that capacity is a huge thing. So in the promo here afterwards, which I'll just go through right now, Michaels rips on Ramon and says that Diesel is the real WWF Intercontinental champion. Diesel asks why not when he is asked why he attacked Ramon, and Michaels guarantees a victory for his bodyguard. During that promo, he didn't have like a fake accent or anything. Yes. It was Diesel talking and being aggressive, and you could take him as a serious act. So
yes, and dude, as soon as he started talking, I was like, thank God, just please don't go back, because he's kind of flip-flopped a couple times.
It's like he's forgotten when he has the accent, when he doesn't.
Yes, and it's so funny because so Shawn like leads him into it, but as soon as Diesel starts going, Shawn's like back burner. Like Diesel commands the attention as soon as he starts ripping into it. And it's like he's saying, oh, that's your IC champion out there? Is that really your IC champion out there? Yeah, I hope not, because I just saw an opportunity and seized it and destroyed him. He's saying he's basically guaranteeing he's going to be the next champion. And it's like, after you see what he did, and then he talks like that right into the camera, he's real close. He's like yelling down into the camera. Fucking A, man. I'm sold. I'm into it 100%. I think they can ride this wave for the rest of the year.
I think this is an important segment if you want to point out when's the time where Diesel started ticking upward. Yeah. This might be the segment or segments in which it's like, okay, this guy might be a bigger deal for them.
You know what? I feel like he's had the rocket strapped to his back and it's just been lit and like the fuse is burning and burning. It's like, is this guy really going to take off? Fucking right here, man.
Yeah. It's at the Royal Rumble when he got that reaction after tossing out however many guys he tossed out.
Yes.
These people in Providence, Rhode Island.
Right.
You can make the argument that if Diesel had won the Royal Rumble, they probably all would have lost their shit.
Absolutely. When he gets thrown out, they're chanting his name.
Well, they also chanted Great Valentine. So,
but I mean, still, he's a heel.
Well, yeah, sure.
I'm 100% backer Big Daddy Cool Diesel.
I'm intrigued to see where it could possibly go. So
Yes.
we'll see how it plays out. Hopefully he doesn't turn into another Atom Bomb. But if I had to guess, that
please
is not-
don't.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Let's go to our second match of the evening. It's Bam Bam Bigelow taking on Tony DeVito. Bigelow hits a drop kick early on. Jack Tunney calls in during the contest. He says that he will be investigating what happened earlier in the show. And he says that the Quebecers need to defend the titles against the Head Shrinkers next week on Raw. Bigelow ends up winning the squash match with the headbutt coming off the ropes. Pretty basic stuff here. I mean, it was a good showing for Bigelow, I thought.
Yeah, and you know what? One of the only things that I really noticed, and it's something so stupid, is like the hair on the back of Bam Bam's neck is so thick and gross.
That, yeah.
It reminded me
of Memphis too.
Yeah, it reminded me of Bastion Booger. Like that's what it looked like. He was just throwing the guy around here. You know, we get a drop kick. Luna's, talking about Alundra during the, she's going to be, that's what Vince says. He's talking about Luna and that Luna might be taking on Alundra during the WrestleMania Revenge Tour. Speaking of Luna, though, some boys in the front row were giving her a hard time, which I thought was funny. She was like yelling back and forth to these kids. I got to be honest, I barely watched the match as I typed because as I was typing, it finished. Like it was that quick. Mm-hmm. And what does Bam Bam win with? An enziguri?
No, it's a headbutt coming off the ropes, like a falling headbutt.
Yeah, so he does hit the headbutt. Yeah. The only thing I could think of is when I'm seeing Bam Bam's hand raised, the bell's rung or whatever, I'm thinking, please start building him back up because hopefully Doink is way behind him and we're moving towards something else. That's all I could think of as I'm standing there watching Bam Bam get his hand raised. It's like, okay, maybe we can hit the refresh button on this because I do think that Bam Bam still has value. I don't know if it's going to last though, if they just squander him and don't really do anything.
He certainly needs the time to be,
they got to build him back up.
Right. That's, I'm trying to think of a better word, but to kind of reintroduce him as a major threat or something because the Doink thing really hurt him.
Yes. From
January through June, actually January through August. He was pretty solid, whatever.
Right.
And then as soon as Doink turned face and got involved, it was just like you don't do that with Bigelow. He's just a wasted opportunity.
Well, and like again, to connect back to last week, Bam Bam's one of those guys where we put on the list like he's been killed.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that if they let us forget about Doink and all the things that happened with Doink, if they let us forget that and they build Bam Bam back up for the next couple of weeks, and let's say he has an awesome showing in the King of the Ring like he did last year as like a sleeper, I'm hoping we can salvage what's left and do something with Bam Bam because I do think there's potential there still. Even as much as they fucking took a dump on him for the last however many months, there's still interest in fans' eyes and mine of Bam Bam doing something. So I'm holding out hope. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, him winning at WrestleMania 10 was a good thing.
Yes.
So hopefully he gets slowly built up again to being like, oh shit, here comes Bam Bam. So
right.
We can hope that will work out. Vince McMahon and Randy Savage hype up the tag team title match taking place next week. Backstage, the Quebecers and Johnny Polo find out about the decision by Tunney, and they say that it's unfair. And Jacques says that they aren't afraid of the Head Shrinkers, which I think is inaccurate. They are probably terrified. We go right into our third contest of the evening. It's the Heavenly Bodies, who not digging the whole wing thing on their jackets or whatever.
Well, and really quick, just to kind of rewind a little bit. Sorry if I just blew your eardrums out there. We get a video, and it's from from Stamford, Connecticut.
Oh, did I skip over the?
We did. We skipped over it.
Thing? Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Stamford mayor is here. He's sitting down, and it looks like they must have shot it on location with this guy or something.
Yeah.
It's the mayor, and he's putting over WWF's contribution to the Ferguson Library in Connecticut, the library system. And again, it's just such a PR grab. It's ridiculous. Like, they're showing kids getting books, and like stars are handing out books, and the mayor's just kissing Vince and WWF's ass and saying how much the McMahon family has meant to the community. And it just seems like if you were really in it for the good of the community, you wouldn't prostitute it out like this. You wouldn't, I don't know. It just seems so blatant and like cheap. So
my thing is that I don't know if they really ever do it when they're not on trial. Like, you go back and watch Superstars from '92 or Primetime. Like, do they go, "Oh, we were at the local library"? No, it's usually when Vince McMahon's in trouble, and they're just like, "But he does a lot of great things too."
Right.
Like,
no, I mean, that's
library.
fair. That's fair, and that's what it is. It's backpedaling.
It is. It just, like you said, it screamed of just forced, just feeding you bullshit.
Like, I feel like the WWF paid the mayor to do that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
There's no way the mayor was like, "Hey guys, like, we really appreciate all you've been doing. Like, what can I do for you guys? Like, I'm so appreciative." Oh, a video? Absolutely. Like, I would love to just let people know what you're doing. Like, there's no way. Vince approached the guy. He's like, "Listen, dude, for the last year, we've pumped some money into the library system. Will you do a video for us? We'll pay you a little bit of money towards your campaign."
Right.
Or something, And the guy's probably like, "Sure, like, I'll do it."
Well, my thing is like, why would the guy want to be part of that when McMahon has I would say, a negative public perception on him for the steroid trial and everything that's going on? Like, why would you want to associate yourself with that brand?
I don't know. Because maybe in Connecticut, like, it doesn't mean much. I don't know.
I'm just, I don't know. I didn't like this segment. I can't believe I forgot to mention it, but
it's just cheap. Like, it's cheap.
It was a cheap little. It's like a murderer being on trial, and then people being like, "But like, he held the car door for me."
Yeah, look at this cat he adopted.
Right.
He's so nice.
He's such a great guy, Jimmy. No, man, he's so nice to me.
Right.
Sure, Vince McMahon's nice to your school or whatever, your library, but he's also peddling steroids to all of his workers. It's great.
Yeah, he's promoting drug abuse.
It's fine. It's great. Nothing can go wrong with that ever.
Right.
Like I mentioned, the third contest of the evening is the Heavenly Bodies against John Paul and Jason Headings. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the whole,
no,
protruding wings from their jackets.
No.
Weird. Not a fan of that. Pritchard and Headings start off the match with Headings actually slamming Pritchard to the mat. His offense doesn't last as he's stopped by a double super kick. Vince McMahon mentions on commentary that Mr. Perfect no-showed a match against Lex Luger and has been suspended. So much for Mr. Perfect in the WWF. Pritchard catches Paul and he tags in Del Rey to hit a nice double team cross body. Bodies continue with a powerbomb neckbreaker combo on Paul. They then hit a back suplex / moonsault on Paul for a near fall as Del Rey didn't feel like winning the match at that point. Del Rey settles for the pin following a moonsault off the top rope. So the Heavenly Bodies hit some, a few good double team moves there. But the real news, to me at least, is that Mr. Perfect has been suspended, pretty much wiping out the promotion of the Luger Perfect feud making Luger's loss at WrestleMania 10 even more ridiculous. Because now he has nobody to feud with. So he's pretty much lost in the shuffle, I would say, at this point, because who the hell is he going to feud with? So, Austin, what did you think of the Heavenly Bodies, and what did you think of the announcement of Mr. Perfect being suspended?
Well, before I even get into that fucking can of worms, the match itself, I like the Heavenly Bodies quite a bit. I think they're hell of a team. I think they're pretty polished for not being like a WWF team. Like, they're pretty polished.
Yeah, I would say, I don't mean to cut you off, but like the Bodies, in terms of like a more modern sense of it, like they would be seen as like a really polished independent tag team.
Yeah.
That could just stroll on. They've obviously have worked with Smoky Mountain and stuff like that, but in a national exposure sense, that they fit in pretty well.
Yes. I was just going to say, honestly, out of a lot of the tag teams on the roster, Bodies are probably one of the best. So yeah, big fan of these guys. I just was like you. I did not like the wing thing. Hopefully that was just for this little piece here and they don't do that again. But even some of their tag maneuvers that they do together, their tandem stuff is fucking awesome. Like in Del Rey, for being kind of like an out of shape guy, because he's not in great shape, hitting that moonsault like he does is so fucking good. And like, I like Dr. Tom too. He's fucking solid. And I just like that they're a team that is like impactful. You know what I mean? Like there's not much flash, but even like the flash is impactful.
I would say there's a decent amount of flash for them.
Yeah, but
like
it's
the double
not,
team moves. They come off the ropes quite a bit. I'd say there's a decent amount.
Yeah, but it's not like smoke and mirrors. You know what I mean? They're backing the flash
like
up with solid moves. So I do. I enjoy them quite a bit. I think them with Cornette is a highlight, really, at this point. And it really wasn't a bad enhancement match. I don't know. I look forward to the Bodies now. Anytime I see or hear them coming out, I look forward to it. So we get more dates announced too for the WrestleMania Revenge Tour. And again, to circle back to the Mr. Perfect announcement, if you're Lex Luger and you don't put your notice in after that, you must just be in it for the check.
Yeah, you have to be.
I mean, because after everything, and I mean everything, to now find out that Perfect's out of the equation and like you just started this shit following WrestleMania, you know you're fucked. You know it. They're not putting you back with Brett. There's no point in doing anything with Yoko. I have to think as a talent who's somebody I think would be more concerned if it was me. The money's great and like cool, but yeah, I'm here to live my dream and I want to like do cool shit while I'm here. For me, man, I'm putting my notice in.
See, I don't think Luger is a guy that's like, I'm in it for the wrestling. I feel like he's I'm about the money.
Yes.
So like as long as I get paid
whatever,
low seven figures, probably
right.
high six figures.
Yeah.
He'll ride it out for however long.
Right.
That's the type of vibe I get.
And that's the thing. It's like it's kind of obvious at this point. I mean, all the shit that he's been through. And to top it off, he's fought through hell, been booked like shit, but like pushed, but booked like shit. Okay, now your opponent has just pretty much bailed or been pulled out from under you. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, fucking see you later. I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're right. It's funny. He's like the type of guy that a strong push made him worse. because like a strong push is usually supposed to be like, oh wow, great, you're moving up your main event. He got pushed into the main event and is like a mid card.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just, I think nothing positive has happened for this guy
No.
for the last 9 months.
No. And like when we just talked about it fucking 20 minutes ago. It's like, okay, Perfect cuts his promo. It's got a little bit of steam. Like, okay, hopefully, maybe he's found his motivation finally, and like maybe this will be interesting. And then it's like, oh, by the way, Perfect's not here, and he ain't gonna be here. I don't know, man. If I'm Lex Luger, dude, fuck, I'm at the end of my fucking rope.
I think Perfect's a genius. He gets all the heat and then he battles before he
And
has to
then
lose.
leaves. Yeah.
He's a genius.
I don't know, man.
It's a perfect way to run an angle.
Is the no-show thing a shoot?
Well, I mean, in the Observer, like I mentioned, they had said he needed foot surgery, but
injured. Yeah.
I think he didn't want to wrestle because of the Lloyds of London. Like it was more beneficial for him to
not do it,
to not wrestle.
Yeah.
And I mean, not to get too far off the timeline or anything, but the reason why he returns for WCW 3 years later is because the contract was, I think, substantially bigger than the Lloyds of London contract. So,
right.
If I had gone that Lloyds of London, because I think the Lloyds of London was like a lifetime thing, wasn't it? Like it was like how long was it good for?
No, because like Rude, I think only got $400,000.
Yeah, but
like, he ended his career for $400,000.
Oh, that's what it's based off on?
I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was like payments every it's just one large sum.
Well, you don't get it all at once. But that's all they were going to pay out is $400,000. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
So like in Rude's mind, he probably thought, "Oh, I can cruise on that for a while." Like whatever.
So you're saying that because on Bischoff's podcast, Rude had told him that he wanted to get back into wrestling, but he needed to pay off the Lloyds of London, right? Because if you go back and compete, you have to pay it back.
Well, so exactly,
and Bischoff wouldn't do it, and yes, $400,000. I thought it was going to be like millions and millions of dollars.
Oh, dude, no.
Bischoff not paying $400,000 compared to the amount of stupid things that he spent money on just in '99 alone. Kiss and Travis Scott or whatever. And he wouldn't pay $400,000 for his buddy to go back to work.
Well,
that's remarkable.
I think that's why Rude's family hates Eric Bischoff.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, that probably doesn't help.
Right. But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure the sum was like $400,000, and it gets. You might be able to do in like 2 different payments, or you can do. I think you get to choose, but like at the end of the day, exactly. So if you go back to work, you're paying that money back because at that point, if you don't, it's fraud.
Right.
You know what I mean? So right. I think
you're stealing money from them.
Right. So I think in Rude's case, he blew through $400,000 way quicker than he thought he was going to. And like, shit, I didn't make that last. I got to go back to work. And then was fucked because he couldn't go back to work because Eric wouldn't let him.
Well, the thing with that, though, is like, because Rude becomes a manager in WCW, so he's having an income.
Yeah, but I'm sure
it's not like a wrestling income.
No.
It was less.
Right.
So I had no idea how any of that worked then. I was under a totally different assumption.
No, I'm pretty sure it's not like a regular, like what do they call it? Like disability pay. It's not like that.
Right.
It's not like that.
Well, if only I knew a lawyer. I think there's one on the Wrestling 20 Years Ago podcast, and he happens to listen to us. So if you have any idea, lawyer man, please educate me. That way that we can have a concrete answer on this.
Yeah,
I mean, not to say that you're wrong, Austin, but I had no idea any of that worked.
Yes,
Worked out with them.
I'm pretty sure that's the case. By the way, I don't think Lloyd's of London is even a company anymore. But I'm sure in Perfect's case, he might have been a little bit smarter about it and like maybe didn't take out as big of a policy or something because he was able to go back to work. So, yeah, I'm not sure. But I know definitely in Rude's case, like he spent whatever money he got and was like living large and then was out of money and out of a career. So,
wow, this whole thing is pretty depressing, to be honest with you. To learn that was what it was really over for Rude.
I want to say, and it might have even been in Bischoff's podcast, I want to say it was $400,000 that they paid out for him. And like if you're Rude, right, and you get injured, and let's say you're making $100,000 a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's assume you've been making $100,000 a year for, I don't know, a couple, 5 years when he gets injured by then.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's $500,000. And let's say you have a finance guy who knows how to invest and whatever, and you're able to save a little bit of money. Let's say you pay off a house. You bought a house, you paid it off, $100,000 house. And in the 90s, that's a pretty fucking nice house. Not crazy, but nice. Rude might have figured, okay, we can make $500,000 last a while. I'll stay out of the ring, but maybe do appearances like on small shows or something, like under the radar shit. I don't know. I don't know what the thought process is on that. I don't know. But
so he had to have been collecting his policy since like 94, 95, because he got hurt in 94. So let's assume starting in 95, he was collecting on the policy.
Yeah.
So he went to ECW and did some stuff. Went to WCW. So it's in WWF even with DX for a minute.
Right.
So it's not like he wasn't making money. It just wasn't probably as high as, you could make as an in-ring performer.
I just don't know where Rude made the decision, hey, I'm going to give up potentially more than $1 million for $400,000 right now. Maybe he was worried that where the business was going, he wasn't going to make that money. I don't know. Probably
a safety net too.
Right. Here's the money right now.
Guarantee.
Yeah. I don't know. It's very interesting. And it's so funny that I wish somebody would write a book and do the research on like a handful of wrestlers who collected on a Lloyd's of London policy and like how that works. And they talk to the family or if the guy's still alive, they interview the guy or whatever. Like that shit is fascinating. You know what I mean? But yeah, not to get off topic, but yes, I think we're on the right track as far as really our worries kind of coming to life with Mr. Perfect again.
Yeah. And needless to say that in the next segment, there is a man who is not living the good life. He is not making hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. We have King's Court up next with Jerry Lawler, and he mentions that this week he has something different. Instead of having rich wrestlers, we will have a broke wrestler. And he introduces Nikolai Volkoff, who is sitting in the front row. And Lawler is really making a point to make it clear that Volkoff has no money. Volkoff says that he will tell the truth. He is proud to be a United States citizen. He has made a few bad investments. He asks Lawler if he has ever had a job. Lawler calls Volkoff a filthy bum. Lawler wants Volkoff to beg for a job in the WWF. Volkoff says that he isn't afraid of war and would be ready to take on Jerry Lawler right now. Volkoff says that he is an honest, hardworking man, and he goes back to sit down in the front row. So what we get out of this is that Volkoff is not good with money. He probably trusted the wrong people. And Lawler is pretty much saying, hey, man, if you want a job, you should just beg for it. I don't know if Lawler has that power to hire anybody. But I'm not a big Volkoff fan. I was not a big Volkoff fan even during his prime some 12 years ago. But yeah, this was I have no interest in a Nikolai Volkoff angle with, I think, anybody.
Yeah, and let me be clear. So Volkoff does have some fans in the crowd because they are
Probably family.
Probably because they're kind of reacting to some of the stuff he says, which, mind you, I don't know how they understood half the shit he said because I didn't. And I get the angle, right? So it's like the blue collar, down on his luck guy versus the high and mighty king. And it's like, okay, if this is the direction they're going, like whatever. At this point, I don't care about Jerry Lawler. I was never a big fan of Jerry Lawler's anyway. I don't get the mindset of let's bring back Nikolai Volkoff and insert him into a feud with a guy who we know what's capable of, but aren't doing since he's been back. And that'll get over. It's just very confusing. It's I
don't know.
I don't know where the value is in a guy like Nikolai Volkoff in 1994 when you have a guy like 123 Kid. You have a team like the Heavenly Bodies. All this Quang guy, and Brett's really good, and like Owen's like a hybrid wrestler, and then like you're gonna do Nikolai Volkoff. Like, what is he really gonna provide to your show?
I wonder if the angle is like semi-truth and this is like a favor to get him out of like a hole.
I don't know. I would believe that. I'd believe that. He sold it like it was.
Yeah. I mean, I could totally see Volkoff. So maybe somebody's swindling his money and now he's like, oh shit, I need to go back to work. And Vince being like, listen, man, I don't have a lot, but I can give you something and work with it for a minute.
Sure.
Do something quick,
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's not too many ways to explain this shit, but I'd be okay with that for an explanation. Maybe that is the case. I don't know. Again, I don't know how much money it's going to make the company.
None. The WWF will turn Nikolai Volkoff.
Yeah.
But WWF is going to end up on WCW television saying, hey, man, just like Volkoff, we lost all of our money, and we're here for another job.
No, fucking Volkoff's going to put WWF out of business, and then WWF's going to have to go to Lloyd's in London and say, hey, we are fucking broke, not a bone, but like financially. So can we get a policy? We promise we'll never wrestle again.
Right.
And if we wrestle, it'll only be tag matches, and those are much less strenuous.
Yep.
And you can still pay us.
We're going to open up an arm wrestling contest. There's no bumps. It's just an arm hitting the table.
Right. So can we get like $4 million? And Lloyd's in London will be like, how about 5? And WWF will say, yes, we will take it. And it's all because of Nikolai Volkoff.
Yep. Nikolai Volkoff is about to kill the WWF. That's pretty much what we're getting at. Let's go to our fourth contest. It's the 1-2-3 Kid taking on Dwayne Gill. Gill works on Kid early on with some knees and right hands in the corner, followed by a clothesline. Kid battles back with a springboard clothesline and several kicks to knock Gill down. Kid wins the match following a spinning heel kick. Pretty much by the books there. I mean, Kid looked pretty good. He had some good gear on too. I figure I'll note that for once, actually.
His look is definitely more polished. He just looks more confident.
Yeah. He doesn't look like a 12-year-old about to give a presentation.
Right. I felt like they should have gave Kid a little bit more time to get some more of his shit in. Instead of like basically looking even with this guy.
I think that's the idea, though, for 1 to 3 Kid. He's always the underdog.
I know.
It works for Kid, but it doesn't work for Jarrett.
No, right.
It shouldn't work for Jarrett.
And I get that. It's just that's me being selfish and me liking Kid's offense.
Right.
Because it is so dynamic. Like, I want to see more of it. But, like, you're right. You know, I definitely get that. But at this point, he is a little bit more of a star. And I'm glad that they're moving away from how he was booked previously.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I do. I like the 1, 2, 3 Kid. I think he's got almost all of his pieces kind of put together. He definitely still has a little bit of room to grow personality-wise, you know, because he's not super interesting other than the moves. So hopefully we'll see a little bit more of that as we move later into the year this year. As Bob yawns and he wants to quit IcoPod as we're talking.
Exhausting couple of episodes here. Footage of some guy at a meatpacking shop. He says that the Undertaker had came into the store and ordered a 6-foot sub or meal or whichever. And the guy says that he turned around to get the Undertaker his pickles, but the Undertaker was gone. Didn't know where he went. He just vanished.
Getting his pickles.
It's like, okay, Tony. Like, what the hell? So the Undertaker ordered a sub at a fucking sub shop or whatever, and I guess he doesn't like pickles. I don't like this segment just because it kind of ruins the whole image of the Undertaker if he's going down the streets of Manhattan to pick up a sub and then says, "Oh, I don't need my pickles," so he just walks out, vanished. I don't know if I dig that.
Oh, but you love some Yoko claws, don't you?
That's different. This is legitimately part of an angle.
It's insane.
Listen.
Who thought
this is part of the angle? Yokozuna clause was not an angle. It was a comedy commercial that is not in the universe of the WWF. This is happening in the universe of the WWF.
This was a comedy commercial, in my opinion. Because literally, let me paint the picture, right? So Bob likes to breeze through shit, right? So it's literally, it's like a mom and pop, like Italian deli. That's what it looks like, right? So the guy's literally, he's got his back to the camera. He's cutting meat at the fucking, like the little station. Turns around, and you can just tell by the expression on this fucker's face that he's just a clown. Right? So he exactly like Bob says, he's talking about this 6-foot sandwich that he made for the Undertaker. It's got a couple pounds of meat on it, a couple pounds of cheese on it, got some lettuce on it, went to grab the pickles, and then poof, he's gone into thin air. So I don't know if we're supposed to assume that Undertaker just stole the sandwich that was 6 foot long and just walked out of the store with a 6 foot long sandwich, which is just an absolute cartoon. Or what happens, right? But I think the topper for me, the absolute worst part of the whole thing, wasn't even the segment itself. It's the comment that Vince McMahon makes when we are back in the arena. Vince was like, sounds like the Undertaker had himself a 6-foot wedgie. I mean, wedge. Oh my. It's a gimmick killer.
That's what I'm saying. But Yoko clause was not, it was out of the context.
Bob, that's what we call giving you shit.
Well, I am defending myself against this shit.
Just pipe down over there. All right. Right now we're talking about Undertaker's 6-foot wedgie. I don't. Is it like an attempt at comedy at the Undertaker's expense?
I don't know why you would do that. I mean, I know that the Undertaker, gimmick or whatever is, ridiculous that he's a dead man. But
well, so here's the thing though: if there's any gimmick on the whole roster that you absolutely 100% have to protect and do whatever you can to make it as believable as possible. It's the Undertakers. So don't tell me that the Undertaker is going into a fucking mom and pop deli, full gimmick. Guy knows who Undertaker is, full gimmick. Ordering a sub, not only a sub, a 6-foot-long sub. This is literally just a clown act. And then he disappears and steals the sandwich without getting his pickles.
Did he pay?
He didn't pay.
He didn't even pay.
I just, it was literally like, I shit you not. I paused it, finished what I was typing, and I just kind of sat there and was like, was that for real? That was for the Undertaker. They were talking about the Undertaker. I don't know. I don't have any words for that.
I feel like you shouldn't make it come across like Undertaker does normal human things. That's my main gripe with it.
And you're making a joke out of it, man.
Yeah.
It's a farce.
Because as a fan, I'm thinking the Undertaker went to a sub shop and ordered a meal when he doesn't like pickles. Like you shouldn't humanize him at that point. Like
but not only that, dude. A foot long is one thing, right? Oh, he ordered a foot long sub.
6 feet.
6 feet.
Yeah.
How is the Undertaker?
That guy's got to eat, man.
Yeah, but how's the Undertaker? How's the Undertaker sneaking out of the sub shop with a 6-foot-long sandwich? Can you just imagine how ridiculous that looks?
That's a really good point. Like, how
is he like fumbling around, like whoa,
over his shoulder, like carrying a ladder out of the room?
Like are you? What does he do? Slam it in the casket and roll the shit out?
Maybe they meant a 6-inch, but they said 6 feet. They definitely said 6 feet, but maybe they meant to say like a 6-inch sub or something. They just fucked up the length.
I literally, I can't even
sub. I mean, walking out of it, you like might need 2 people for that.
I can't even fathom just the ridiculousness of that. It has to be a joke. It's got to be a joke. And then for Vince to do the wedgie line, like, are we talking about Doink? Did they mean Undertaker? Or are we talking about Doink? I just, what?
Yeah, I feel like there shouldn't be that type of confusion.
Like, holy Christ, man. Literally picture the Undertaker, 6'10", right? This motherfucker carrying out a 6-foot sub. And you know it's not like strong if it's got pounds of meat and pounds of cheese on it. That shit's flapping over.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got to like juggle it out like some kind of Italian cartoon character. Like, whoa, whoa. He's like,
oh no. Like
it's insane. It's insane. It's ridiculous. And it's so infuriating that it's even a thing. And like, I'm not even a fan of The Undertaker, and I'm embarrassed for him. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Not one of the better, not a better decisions there.
Insane.
Let's go right into the main event after that disastrous segment. Owen Hart squaring off against Rich Myers. Hart slaps Myers early on, followed by a few chops. He drives Myers down with a running bulldog. He dominates Myers, connecting with a gut wrench suplex and drops the leg across the chest of Myers. Hart avoids a dropkick attempt, and he locks in the sharpshooter to pick up the easy win. Pretty much by the books there for Owen.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it was solid. I mean, Owen hits some of his greatest hits here. I really love when Owen like addresses the crowd. So they'll always chant, "Oh, we want Brett." And Owen immediately like, "I want Brett too." Like, come on out, Brett. Where are you? I want the belt. He's like,
I'll meet him again right now.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love when he does that because it does what he wants. Because as soon as he starts doing that, the crowd dies. Like they stop chanting it.
Right.
So it's literally perfect. It's such a stroke of a real like artist. You know what I mean? That Owen's really starting to hit his stride as a heel. Owen does give the guy a little bit of stuff, but not much at all, which is kind of how it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Gets a sharpshooter win. He doesn't let go after the bell. He's getting big boos. Owen celebrates. He drops an extra knee on the guy, which I really like. Like just a bastard heel, I was very excited to see Owen Hart because it's been far too long. I don't think they can keep doing this, although it does make Owen feel a little special. It's like a double-edged sword. I still don't think we're getting enough Owen Hart, though, especially if he's going to be the main heel moving forward with Brett.
I feel like there should have been a promo after this.
There should have been a promo after this. Yeah.
It seems like the perfect opportunity to...
Sure, like a ringside one with Vince or something like that.
Exactly,
yeah. Yeah, no, I thought it was good. You're right. It's by the books, but Owen again pulls a rabbit out of the hat with one of these enhancement matches. And it's so funny that, Brett is having a match with Quang and really we're not getting much out of it. But Owen has a match with fucking Rich Myers and really like gets the shine off of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's looking upward and onward for Owen Hart, and I couldn't be more excited about it.
Yeah, I think the spring and summer will be a really telling time for Owen Hart as he kind of moves up to the main event scene, which, I mean, he's already in the main event scene, I guess. So it's
major pressure, though, and Owen hasn't had that pressure yet.
No,
we're going to see.
This has been a quick catapult, too.
Really quick.
All things considered.
So,
well, instead of an Owen Hart promo to kind of close out the show, instead, Captain Lou Albano is with Randy Savage and Vince McMahon to hype up next week's WWF World Tag Team Championship match. Johnny Polo comes down to the ring and begins to shove and insult Albano. Savage steps in and he holds Polo to allow Albano to deliver a punch that knocks Polo down.
It's like a sucker punch.
Yeah. The Quebecers run down and they protect Polo from any further beating. Savage kind of gets in the ring as if to say, hey, come on, get in the ring, blah, blah. And that pretty much wraps up this episode of Raw. So what did you think of the closing segment? And then what did you think of the show overall?
If I never see Captain Lou again, it'll be too soon. Really don't like Captain Lou. Don't like Polo. Have no interest in the Quebecers. Feel bad for the head shrinkers. Yeah, not a fan. Not really looking forward to the tag match, to be honest with you, just because of really the focus isn't on the head shrinkers really or the Quebecers. It's more or less focused on
Captain Lou
and Johnny Polo having like a pissing contest.
Yeah.
And it's just like, whatever, man. Like, that's not for me. That's not really what I'm in it for. So, yeah, I just, really just no interest. As far as this week, though, as a whole, I think it was an improvement over last week. Again, I rank last week really low on the totem pole. But it was relatively lackluster. Like I said, I have really no interest in this tag feud. I'm sick of Diesel getting like the shared spotlight. And again, we saw a little bit of that this week. The camera kept going to Sean. Sean's trying to be in every shot and that sort of thing. Again, I couldn't really take Jeff Jarrett too seriously as a challenger. And really, other than Owen's match, I would say the rest of the enhancement matches this week were relatively forgettable. But again, at least we got Owen. I was very excited to see Owen have another solid enhancement match. But yeah, man, I mean, other than like Diesel, Owen, and a few others, again, it's just this week wasn't a major improvement, but it was definitely a step up from last week.
Well, last week was probably one of the dirt fucking worst episodes we've seen. This wasn't even really an average episode. I would say it was probably lackluster, but certainly not to the point of last week's. I really don't care about Volkoff.
No, I don't
So that segment really kind of sucked for me. But like the advancement with Diesel Ramon, I thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's just another slowly building up to things that will probably be happening in the spring and later in the spring and into the summer. So
right.
These are the episodes that you don't need to watch because they're not really progressing anything. They're just kind of reminding you, like, oh hey, Owen's here, or oh hey, 1 2 3 kid can do some moves.
Right, they're still around.
Yeah, like there isn't any depth.
I think if you're gonna watch anything on the show, watch the first 20 minutes.
I was gonna say 20.
Because I mean, honestly, really, I think we're really underplaying it. I think for me, I think I'm underplaying it. I do think Jeff Jarrett and Razor had a decent match. It held my interest. To put it that way.
It was all right.
And I thought the finish was fine. Like the no contest, the interference, the Diesel showing, like all that was good stuff. Mm-hmm. The show kind of falls off a cliff after that. So if you're in the mood, you got the time, throw on the first 20 minutes, and then we can say, I told you so, and then it'll be over. So that's where I was at with this week.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat with you for that one. So moving forward, though, we're inching closer and closer to King of the Ring qualifying matches, which I believe will begin in about 2 weeks. Next week, of course, we have the Head Shrinkers going after the WWF Tag Team Championships that are currently held by the Quebecers. Considering we know that Jacques has put in his notice, might be a foregone conclusion on how that's going to go.
Yeah.
But I know you said you weren't all that intrigued by it. I think I'm a sucker for like title matches from like in this era. Like if it's on Raw, like I'm probably going to check it out.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of interested in that. Razor Ramon and Diesel will be on Superstar, so we will be chatting about that one. That's probably a match that I'm for television is probably one of the matches I'm most excited for.
Yeah,
recently.
Yeah. So
I'm looking forward to that. You got anything else though for this episode of IcoPod?
I can't believe that we're already kind of dipping our toes into the summer of '94, man. Time's flying.
Yeah, we're making a bunch of progress.
Yeah, and it's crazy too because really once you hit 95, I almost think 95 is more hit or miss than 93 or 94.
So I think when we get into 95, because 95 is considered like the worst year for WWF.
Right.
Television. I think when we get into 95 and we maybe even complete it, I am safely going to say, and I know we're far off from it, but regardless, I don't think 1995 WWF is that bad compared to everything. Like a lot of people will focus on some really foolish decisions that were pretty bad, which then like kind of takes away from all the really fun stuff that happened.
Which is a common misconception with all of these years that we're covering.
Yeah.
But with that said, right now on the hot seat, without overthinking it too much, give me your silver, your gold, and your bronze out of 93, 94, 95.
I will actually say that I think for a transitional year, by default, 93 would get bronze.
I agree with you.
I would then say 95 would probably be a silver and then 94 would be the gold. But that could change judging by what happens here for 94. But just from my perception of what I've seen past tense, I would say that from gold to bronze would be 94, 95, 93.
I 100% agree. I think we're on the exact same page. So I'm looking forward to getting into the summer. The summer of 94 has me quite excited. And I think once we hit 95, to see the progression from 93 to 95 is going to be insane.
Yep.
So I am looking forward to it. But at the same time, there's going to be a lot of cheese, folks. So get your fucking galoshes on as we stomp through the cheesy swamp that is the WWF in the mid-90s.
There's going to be some just cringeworthy gimmicks coming through. It's going to be, like you said, the definition is hit or miss.
So we don't take trash from any years. Oh, wait. Yes, we do. So hang in there with us. Share us around. I'm trying to avoid this plateauing of IcoPod. We need to just swing that up a little bit. So share us around, share us in forums, share us with your friends. We've gotten more reviews in on iTunes, which is pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yep. We've gotten a couple more in. None have really like written out long reviews, but like we've gotten some more 5-star reviews. So thumbs up to you guys for that. If you haven't checked it out, we haven't plugged it in a couple weeks. Check out our Redbubble t-shirt / merchandise page. There's some cool stuff on there for relatively cheap compared to like other wrestling stuff. And stay tuned. We might have a couple more tricks up our sleeve when it comes to that stuff. I'm in the works. I'm trying to pull some strings. So stay tuned there. If you don't like us on Facebook, you're fucking up. So go do that.
You're fucking up.
And continue to download us because we do this as a hobby, but we hope you guys enjoy, and the little cult following that we have seems to. So join in on the fun. Don't be a stick in the mud. IcoPod's where it's at, brother.
Yeah. And you know what? 93, 94, and 95, they may all be hit or miss, but I tell you one thing that's not hit or miss. And that's fucking IcoPod.
Yeah, especially when I was recording back in my closet and I sounded like I was underwater.
Those were the good times.
Yeah.
Well, Austin, if that's all you got, that's all I have. But don't worry, we will be back next week for some more shenanigans. For Austin Skinner, I'm Bob Conley Jr., and this has been another terrifically fun episode of IcoPod.
You got to hear it.